Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Read T-Fuss, where I take old stories I've narrated and update into modern audio standards. This particular story is called The Most Terrifying Sound in the Galaxy, written by Alexius Grace. The most terrifying thing that I've ever heard. The old salt was sitting with a table of his comrades, retired soldiers sharing their stories, a constant across the galaxy and presumably beyond. Well, let me tell you a story, lads, and you know I've been in a few scraps in my lifetime. The others nodded. My first time in, and my cloaker opened, of course, the Prax idea. We already more or less won the war with them, but there was mopping up to do while the fleets bombed down a few lost core holdouts. Cent X is pretty certain the big showdown with the Tahana is happening soon. So they want to use this opportunity to get our screens a little blooded before that goes down. And despite my terror on the dropper when we rode down to some of dry-ass Praxi outpost with like 10 inbred idiots and 4 million goats, I came through it okay. I did get some blood. And as fucking stupid as they usually are, thanks Shex that the brass decided to give us a little combat experience, because the honor are real bastards to fight. Those Shex damn cat people are 111, probably the best fighters the galaxy has. A murmur of respectful agreement around the table. But we had numbers, tech, and discipline. I came through it a little worse for wear, but I came through it. He gestured to a missing sensory stalk on the side of his head. Of course, near the end of the war, the Karam decided to take their shot, thinking that we were weakened, and I can at least snipe some border worlds. You want to talk about sounds that make your cloaker open. Karam fighters are high on the list. I know we're at peace now, but communicating by playing your own wings is fecked up, and they can make some bizarre noises thanks to it. You fought them too, Meb. You know what I mean. The individual named Meb nodded gravely. That song they play when they're swearing to avenge their dead. That is at least the most unsettling sound that I've heard. And their war cry, I guess. Their war cry is scary sound. When you're in a trench of a flight of 100,000 of bastards above you, glad all that crap's only for rituals and not daily use. The Karam weren't wrong in their calculation, though. We were beaten to hell and back by Dana, and we'd only won that with supreme effort. So they were able to push through a lot of space. Then we met the humans. We'd heard about them already, of course, but this was a first formal meeting, and they apparently weren't too pleased with the idea that we were stabbed in the back while fighting another war. In fact, they were majorly fucking ripshit pissed. Humans have a deep-seated sense of justice and fairness. They don't all adhere to it, and they don't always live up to their ideals, sure. But a sneak attack against someone you've got treaties with. Humans basically tape happening that to anyone, anywhere in the galaxy, as a personal insult. They decide they're going to help us out, and so help came in, supplies and volunteers. I was on rate when they first saw anything human-made. Their weapons were primitive, but reliable enough. And they did a surprisingly good line in food. And the volunteers, well, look, here's the thing about humans. They're pretty average physically. A little on the weak side, a little harder to kill than us. Totally lacking in any sort of dexterity. Good eyes, granted. And they're always willing to make up deficiencies with any kind of enhancements they can grab. But they've got one thing no other race has. Not like I've seen. They've got endurance. When the 44th Marines deployed next to us on rate, we didn't really take notice. Best case, we figured some shots find them instead of us. They did okay at the time, won some respect from us for it. But they weren't changing the game. Then a shuck-stabbed massive Karim fleet arrived overhead and started pounding the crap out of us. I'm talking full-on Armageddon code bombardment. Then they sent the ground forces in. Friendly fleets soon arrived and stopped most of the bombing, but the whole front was lost. We were in complete disarray and had to fall back, and it was hard going. Pushing an hour extra before dawn or after dark to gain a little on the Karen. I had not seen the humans for several days, and I cursed them for cowards. Then I reached Wabasi Perry and saw something that changed my mind quickly. In the week of daily marching we had taken to get there, the 44th had marched there, scouted the location, secured it, and built a fully functioning base where we could patch up our wounds and have a little bit of proper rest. Until I saw their company patches, I thought it was a different human unit completely. They don't work twice as fast or as hard as we. They just last twice as long. Way more than that, actually. Even after we arrived, we needed days to recover, and until we did, the 44th manned the walls, held the line, led sorties and recon and rescue missions. All goes right back to the start of their evolution. They learned tool use, same as anyone, then used that for hunting, same as anyone. But when all else failed, they hunted by walking. I'm not shitting you. They see something they want to kill, and they walk after it for days, until the thing collapses from exhaustion, and they can kill it at their leisure. So they kept that line steady until we were back in shape ourselves. And let me tell you, our opinions went up from "these guys are okay, I guess" to "holy shucks, they're like superheroes or something. How do they even do that?" in a real hurry. Heaven help anyone who tries to outlast a human in a fight. I've never seen sheer determination like it. And I don't think that they can be beaten, even if you scourge their home system clean of life. The most terrifying thing that I've ever heard, though, isn't a Karen wingsong. It isn't a Dahana roar as it bounces. It's not even the rambunctiousness of a human squatty going into combat, or the grim acknowledgement of orders after they've been days without sleep, and still do their job. None of it is remotely unsettling compared to this. After the war, when the Kirin Praxisians convinced their queens to ask for peace, the humans held back our want for revenge. You all remember, it was a huge issue. We were grateful as shit, but how dare they tell us what to do like that? Honor demanded revenge. The humans sat us all down around the table for a big talk, and in those weeks they won the friendship of the Karen, as surely as they had won ours in the war. We got concessions, sure, but the humans wanted to know how they could help the Karen recover. I asked a human comrade later why they had been so merciful, why they had sought to make friends of the Karen, who had slaughtered with such abandon. He explained that they had no real liking of war, as competent as they were. They didn't have any way to exterminate the Karen, and anyway, that was a horrifying idea to him, and would only make more enemies in the long run. So that left only one option, and as he said, he was quoting some old revered leader, one of their greatest, I am told, from before they even left their homeworld when he said this. Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends? And that is the most terrifying thing that I have ever heard, because they succeeded. We all get along now. I saw a couple of Karen in the street on my way here, and nobody cared. I didn't even care, and I fought the buggers for years. I just thought, that one's carapace is an unusual shade of green, and that's kind of neat. And they probably thought nothing more consequential about me. Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends? How the hell could anyone stop a people who lived by that code? End of story. Story number 2. Human Owners, written by Eat Frozen Peas. Notice to all base personnel. The small quadrupedal animals in human dwellings are pets, a form of companion animals. They are regarded as family, not livestock. Do not attempt to purchase as livestock. Do not remove without the owner's permission. Under no circumstances should you take one as a food source. Local authorities are no longer willing to intervene in these cases. Local authorities won't intervene? You mean they just let anyone steal the animals? The owners must be furious. No, it's the other way around. The other way around? I don't understand. About half a revolution ago, a slimmer stole someone's cat. He sold the meat illegally as a rare dish. When the owner found out who it was that took her pet and what he did with it, she dunked his head in boiling oil while screaming profanities. The officers that responded are still in counseling. Notice to all base personnel, the small avian and reptilian creatures in human dwellings are frequently pets as well. The fact that an animal lives in a cage or a tank is not indicative of whether it is a food source. Wait, so those chickens you keep aren't for food? Mine are just for the eggs. I'd have a hard time eating them. But you eat chicken? Yeah, but other people's chickens. From farms, not my own. But you eat the eggs? It's not like they're fertilized or anything. No harm, no foul. I don't understand. It's a pun. No, I got that part. Notice to all base personnel, fish in tanks may also be considered pets by humans. Some fish are eaten. Do not assume all are. Some varieties are toxic in addition to being pets. Base medical may not have treatment available. Pet fish. Humans really do that? Oh, absolutely. I know a guy who's kept the same koi for 36 years. Beautiful fish. They're absolutely his pride and joy. And that worked out well for him? Well, not early on. When they were small, one of those LEI assumed they were set out in the bowl as a live snack for embassy meeting. Live food is a thing for them, I guess. Anyway, it popped a couple of in and swallowed. Joe ended up doing some kind of modified Heimlich maneuver, whacking the abdomen to get it to cough them out. Small the diplomatic incident, but it was smoothed over. He risked injuring an ambassador over pet fish. Well, yeah. What was he supposed to do? Let them get eaten? Notice to all base personnel. Do not interact with animals belonging to humans unless explicitly told to by the humans. Do not approach, do not touch, do not eat, do not even look at them. Base security and medical will be instituting a fine for all pet-related incidents requiring their assistance. End of story. I would like to thank our T5 members and patrons, Casper Arnholtz, John Creighton, Vidmori, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.